The PowerPoint up, please. So I'm going to take you through the journey with the buildings. So, in 2016, LifeLine Church purchased 2 buildings from the Andrews family. We then went through a period of planning how we could develop them. In October 2020, the core team came to the church with a design on the table costing just a mere £5.7 million to demolish and rebuild. They shared that they didn't have the release to borrow the 2.6 million shortfall, and so asked you were involved in this process, to pray for God's provision. Then, everything came to an absolute standstill during COVID. Nothing happened until the summer of 2022 when the core team met to restart the program for the buildings. God spoke very clearly with a challenge from Joshua 3:13 to step into the water. They were clear that it was God's word, but we really didn't know what to do with it exactly. We started to pray for the way forward. There was no green light for the 5.7 million construction proposal that had been on the table. Then in January 2023, the council regeneration team offered to do some pro bono support to look at using the tile shop building in its current form, not to demolish it, but to refurbish it. And they developed a proposal outlining how we could make it work. And for those who don't know what pro bono means, it means free. We like things for free, don't we? So in February 2023, the core team knew it was time to step into the water. And they started the process to appoint a project team who could build the new design and the construction team. By June 2023, the team were in a place and fundraising program was started. By September 2023, the new proposal for both the tile shop and part of the furniture shop was presented at a price of £3.3 million. The core team considered that although it was going to be a stretch, we felt that it was in our grasp, and we concluded that we could reduce some of the works if additional funds didn't come in. Again, it was stepping out in faith into the water. By November 2023, we then realized that we had not included the VAT costs in the price. And in reality, that 3.3 million was in fact 4.2 million. The church definitely didn't have those funds. It was a serious mistake. We as a team had to question whether we had moved in faith or had made a decision based upon the practicalities, because we had the 3.3 million and that was possible. We brought the matter to the church for conclusion, confessing that we'd made the mistake. And we asked the question, was God saying to go ahead with the building work at 4.2 million? And the consensus was a resounding yes, that we should continue, but that God would provide with us not borrowing any money. We stepped into the water. Are you hearing a current theme here? Our feet were getting very, very wet. But that was a good thing because we were moving in God's word. In January 2024, we hit the moment of no return. Work started in earnest in the tile shop. We were committed. Around that time, someone mentioned a fund in the council that had been closed but was about to reopen again, and for us to keep our eye out for it. At the same time, one of the church members connected us with a team of VAT specialists who said they could support us to maximize the expenditure. In October 2024, we applied to the council fund, and in November 2024, we started the registration process for the VAT. In January 2025, almost there now, we were still £800,000 short. The project manager said we could start the work on the furniture shop until later in the year, although there were benefits in doing it while the contractors were on site at the tile shop. The core team met and were reminded of God's word again, so we decided to step into the water, going for the ground floor only with a plan to build up as we needed. And this is where it gets really interesting. On the 14th of April, 2025, HMRC confirms that we could have the claim of £214,000. On the 15th of April, the council confirmed a grant of £535,000, which was £35,000 more than we'd actually asked for. The construction costs have been met and more. We as the leadership team obeyed God and stepped into the water. The church stood closely behind and prayed God's provision into being. We are very thankful that God has kept the costs out of our reach because it's caused us to have to trust in him. And we as a team would always say, he has done it, not us. And I want to do that right at the beginning because I want us to enter into worship with this in mind. We serve the God of the impossible. We serve the God of the impossible, which makes all things possible. I want us to come in with a real sense of thanksgiving and gratitude that after 30 years, especially the setup teams, that work really hard in the morning to do this every single week, that God has made a way where there didn't appear to be one. We stepped into the water. You've been part of the journey. That journey is not yet finished, but we're well on the way. And what a celebration we're going to have when we open those doors for the first time to make such a difference in this borough and for the people. And the very last thing I want to say is the fact that the Andrews brothers that handed us those buildings all those time ago, well, yes, it cost us money, but it was a real discounted rate. The reason they did that was because their grandfather had basically claimed Andrew's Corner for God a generation before. He said, this will be used for God's purposes. And we get to see the fulfillment of his prophetic thing all those years ago. And that's the bit that really excites me. Yeah? Sometimes in the prophetic, we have words that come and we want an immediate response.